Coach, you talked to me at halftime about needing to minimize mistakes. Unfortunately, there were some costly ones in the second half. What do you take away from this game?
You know what? I mean, we start 2025 today, and we got to get better as a football team. I think, I think I said going in, if we had turnovers, more turnovers, and if we didn't rush for as many yards then we wouldn't win. We turned it over more than them, and penalties absolutely killed us today.
Yeah, and overall, positives you take away from the game like this. You did see the glimpses and the moments of your team fighting back, especially that early drive in the second half. What positively do you take away from this loss?
You know what? I mean, you can always learn from your failures in life, and we're going to look at this, and it's going to motivate us for what lies ahead, for sure.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
We'll send it now to John and to Phil for more post-game coverage.
Okay, we're going to be back up here, Renee, and then we'll send it back down to you as we got the coach kind of early. And typical John Troxel, he's always a gentleman. He's been wonderful to work with for the last couple of seasons for sure. A couple things of note, Jamar Curtis, 131 yards rushing again today, another 100-yard game. So a big pat on the back to Jamar. But it was all Lehigh today. They put up the numbers, and John's right, 90 yards and penalties just does not get it done. All right, here's Mike to take us through the highlights.
Well, again, Lehigh was unstoppable offensively, and they showed that right from the get-go, and they did it on the ground. And Jaden Green, which I didn't think would play as much a factor. I thought it was going to be more Yoder, but again, missed tackles at the point of attack. The penalties hurt Lafayette in a quick 7-0 lead. Lafayette showed you the potency in their offense with Jamar Curtis. Again, Gary gave you his numbers, but Lafayette right here at this point is down 14-7. They have an opportunity to go back and tie this football game up. They don't credit and cash it in the red zone. Turn it back to Lehigh on a poor kick by Jacob Trestic. They go down the field and score a 21-7 lead. And what a catch here by Humphreys. Highest point against the freshman Ryan Gadsden. Poor coverage in the backfield by Narayan Brown. And you have a touchdown that makes it a 28-7. Here, Lafayette a chance again to get back in the ball game. The throw a little bit underthrown. You see Caltechian makes the interception. And then this play at the end of the first half, if that goes the other way, it sets the tone for Lafayette. Down only 14. Instead, they're down 21 points. There was 1 second, so they would not have been able to get another play off in that half. That's the difference. But, hey, give Lafayette credit. They came right back, took the opening drive, which they needed to do in the second half, and score. They couldn't stop Mahela all day. I mean, it was run after run, positive yard after positive yard. And here, this was kind of put the nail in the coffin with the interception by Mason. He read that perfectly, and Lafayette's shown that play many times, so you know he's seen that on film. And that was one that put Lehigh up 38-14. Lafayette tried to get back in the ball game, and this is where, as a defensive lineman and a secondary guy, you want to tee off. You want to go after the quarterback because you know it's pass only, it's one-dimensional. And I tell you what, that guy right there, T.J. Burke, he was a thorn in the side. Both him and Spatney, who leads the league in sacks, did a great job finishing off the Leopards today. The Leopards had no answers in the trenches for the Lehigh Mountain Hawks.
We would be remiss if we did not congratulate Lehigh for at least sharing the Patriot League Championship, and Kevin Cahill and his staff for a job very well done. Those are the final numbers for us. We thank all of you who have spent time with us all season long. Thanks to John B. Bowman for his spotting. He does a terrific job. And, of course, to my partner, Mike Joseph, I wouldn't want to spend 3 or 4 hours with anyone else watching a football game. I'm going to send it down to the Big Three, and thanks for spending time with me.
A frustrating loss here for Rivalry 160 at Goodman Stadium as we are here on our postgame show presented by the Maroon Club. We've got John Leone, we've got Phil Ing, and guys, Renee Washington, myself here, did not predict the game to go this way, but we've seen a little bit of everything today, and unfortunately a loss for Lafayette, 38-14.
Renee, I think the first thing you do, Phil, you'll agree, sometimes you tip your cap. Let's give credit to Lehigh. They played a solid game, almost perfect, because I don't think they had a penalty called on them until the third quarter, and that's clean football. Conversely, we get a big pick early in the game, and we have a chance to go up 7. You never know what's going to happen. It doesn't come down to one play. It's just one of those days. Next year's another year.
Yes, and we talked about it. There were opportunities for the Leopards. Unfortunately, they weren't able to take advantage of them. Come out in the second half, they scored quickly. You feel like there's a little bit of momentum, and then unfortunately the Mountain Hawks answered from there and never looked back, Phil.
Yeah, unfortunately just not enough. Too little, too late in that regards, and then you start pressing. And unfortunately, this is a game that it doesn't hurt for a day, it doesn't hurt for a week. It doesn't hurt for a month. It hurts all year long.
It does, Phil, and I think what Lehigh may have done is used last year's Lafayette win as a motivator. They seemed like they had more to play for, not just the rivalry, but the Patriot League championship. But, John Troxel has done something very special here in his 4th year. He has changed the culture. Lafayette has had a lot of success in this game, especially recently, and they'll bounce back.
As you did mention, John, pregame we did hear from the Mountain Hawks mentioning it was motivation, that loss last year to Lafayette to close out the season. They catapulted that into this season's success, and we saw it pay off for them to get a share at least of the Patriot League title, plus their first time since 2017, getting both the Patriot League title and an automatic bid to the FCS playoff tournament. So congrats to them.
Yeah.
But it does add more insult to injury for the loss for Lafayette.
Yeah, absolutely.
Phil, you've been a part of a lot of these.
Yep. Yeah, what do you call me, old now?
Basically, that's what he was trying to say. But
exactly. No, I think, also for Lehigh, they had 2 weeks off early in the season. And that really helped them. After those 2 weeks off, they really just didn't stop from there. Had a lot of guys able to come back from injury, and I think in talking to some of the guys, they maybe had like 3 guys out for this.
That reminds me of a conversation we had with John Troxel halfway through the year. The travel early in the season for Lafayette, really, they were on the road for probably 4 out of the 5 first games. A lot of travel, a lot of there were injury issues for Lafayette as well. But as I said before, Trox and his staff know what they're doing. They're going to bounce back.
They will bounce back. Still a lot to be for the future, looking ahead for the Leopards to positively look at as they are continuing to build. They're building relationships, they're building the chemistry, they're building the culture, and next season will be a special one for sure. But as we talked about, Rivalry 160 is coming to an end, and unfortunately for both teams that were on a winning streak, the Leopards' winning streak did come to an end and get snapped as well. So for our post-game show, that'll do it for us here. For John, Phil, myself, Renee, and our entire staff here, bringing you all the action between Lafayette and Lehigh. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys for next time. Have a good one.